Boom. Greetings from YouTubeville. Once again, Danny Savage, Draft Guru. Today we're going to be dropping a one round, 32 team mock draft. This is 4.0 edition. So I've dropped 3 already. You can check them out. One's on the channel. The other 2 are on my Twitter page, Danny Savage, Draft Guru. Look to your right, look to your left. By far the best beard on YouTube. And yo, mornings suck, people. Suck. Listen, it's January the 17th at 10:55 hours. We're having fun, people. We're probably going to do another 100 of these. More than 100 of these by the time the draft comes in late April. So if you don't get the player you want, don't get your pants up in a hissy fit. You know what I'm trying to say? It is what it is. It's January 17th, and this is Mock Draft 4.0 edition. Picking number 1, we got the Titans. Cam Ward, quarterback, the U. Next, we got Cleveland Browns. Picking 2, the Deshaun Watson era is pretty much over. I think he got a tug job that was like extra harsh this past week because they're saying he tore his Achilles again. Yo. That kid's contract has ruined it for a lot of future players, man. Watch. So, Browns are going Shedueur Sanders. Start out fresh. Remember this video because I've had other content creators saying, oh, Dion is not going to get involved. You're a fucking idiot. Excuse my language. If you don't think he's going to get involved. If you think he's letting his kid go to Cleveland, I'll make a side wager with anybody. But they won't. They know they'll lose. Shedueur and Shiloh, they're going to go where they want to go. And Dion's going to say that to the teams. What are you going to say? No to them? They're millionaires already. What do they care? They'll just sit out a year, reapply for next year's draft if someone drafts them and they don't want to take them. Bro, it's been done before. And these kids weren't millionaires when it's been done. But it's been done before plenty of times. Number 3, we got the New York Big Blue Giants on the board. They need a quarterback. There ain't no quarterback available. Horrible quarterback draft. They're going to be picking Ashton Jeanty, running back, Boise State. Let me tell you something. The Giants, I hate the Giants with a passion, but they have a good young defense. All young skill positions. Let me tell you something. The Giants get a quarterback, they can compete. Their skill positions are crazy. Remember what I just said. But they picked up Ashton Jeanty, running back, Boise State. Number 4, New England. Took best available on the board. And at 4, Travis Hunter. I believe his future in the NFL is at wide receiver and not corner. And the days of him going both ways are completely over. Pick 5, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars on the clock. They got to get Lawrence some weapons. Tetairoa McMillan, wide receiver, Arizona. He's only 6'5", like 220, and he can go up and get the ball. He's a crazy, dangerous mismatch in the red zone because there's not many corners that can cover 6'5" wide receivers, and this kid is a beast. Number 6, we got the Las Vegas Raiders on the board. They want a quarterback too. Yeah, it's nice. I want to bang Nicki Minaj also. I don't see that happening either. There's none on the board. So they take number 1 rated corner on the board, which is Will Johnson, Michigan. Getting him at 6 is great, great value. I would think the way the quarterback situation is going, the Raiders probably go after like a Sam Darnold, somebody like that, in my opinion, because there's still a lot of players away. They're not one player away from going to the next level. All right, we got the Jets. Same thing with the Jets. Jets need a quarterback. Sorry, ain't none on the board. We're giving them the top safety in the draft, Xavier Watts, Notre Dame. I was going to go tight end here early. I was, because I was tempted. But the Jets have a really good defense, but they're lacking at the safety department. So you throw Xavier Watts on the Jets, that's a good pick. But now if Aaron Rodgers is still with the Jets and he's running this draft, he'll say, give me a wide receiver or give me a tight end. Also, too, the Jets could also go offensive line. Their offensive line is atrocious. All right, number 8, Carolina. They got to get their quarterbacks more help. The kid Leggett last year with the crazy accent, he can help, but they need more. And their quarterback started coming on at the end of the year. So he showed some flashes of potential. So with Carolina at 8, we're going Luther Burden, wide receiver out of Missouri. Or I've already met people, and like when they handed me their ID, I looked at it. I was like, Missouri? And they say, no, we call it misery. I'm like, okay, have a great day. All right. Next, number 9, we got the Saints on the board. My number 1 defensive tackle, Michigan's Mason Graham. 3 years ago, 5th quarter, what's up in the house? We got 805 Vav. Good morning. What's up in the house? We're doing a 32-team first-round mock draft, 4.0 edition. Everybody subscribe to 5th quarter Cowboys. He comes on Monday nights and usually Friday nights. Where was I? Yes, the Saints. Saints pick Mason Graham, my defensive tackle 1. Listen, he's not. You scout the helmet. You scout the player. You don't scout the helmet. He's not the traditional Michigan sit back and catch defensive lineman. He has violent hands, wrestling background, 6'3", 340, and he just tosses people. He don't want to play. He doesn't want to dance with his blocker. He jacks him up, throws him out of the way, gets upfield, and gets lateral. I'm telling you, all these fans that say, oh, I don't want Michigan, I don't want Michigan. Would you take Aiden Hutchinson? You know he went to Michigan. How about, what's the other kid name? He's from Jersey, too. I can't even take his name. He plays for the Packers. I suck in the morning, man. In the mornings, I'm not a morning person. It'll come to me. But he plays for the Packers. He played for Michigan. So it's like, I get Dallas fans about Michigan and LSU, but you should feel the same way about LSU. But the Saints, you put Mason Graham up again next to Brian Burris, the Saints have a really good defensive tackles. A set of very good young defensive tackles. At 10, Caleb Williams in Chicago. We're giving him a toy to play with. We're giving him Tyler Warren, 6'6", 260. He's for my old heads that are on here. I like to comp him. He's a bigger version of Jeremy Shockey, but yet I think he's more athletic than Gronkowski. Tyler Warren can play tight end. He's played quarterback. He's played running back. He's played wide. He's played center. This kid could do it all. And honestly, I personally don't think they've tapped into his 100% potential. He's by far the number one tight end. Next is San Francisco, and I hate them. A lot of people are all over the board on this guy, and I'm not the greatest fan of him. Some people have him as a first round grade. Some people have him as a second round grade. Some people have him as a fifth round grade. Ironically, I watched this kid play as a freshman. He's from Connecticut, but he played 1 year of high school football in New Jersey. So I saw him play as a freshman. And then after his freshman year, he transferred to IMG in Florida. That's Tyler Booker, guard, Alabama. Bro, the kid's like 6'6", 360. It's just lately, Alabama offensive linemen have not been producing that well in the NFL. So I got to see more testing on this kid. But like I said, it's January the 17th. We're having fun. Also, it is a horrible guard. For offensive line, it is not a good class. I'm telling you. It is not. It's not. And after you get about 3 deep at each position, it falls off a cliff. I'm telling you. For some reason, it's not a great year for all linemen. Picking 12 are the Dallas Cowboys. Listen, at 12, Dallas is going to have one good player slide to them. And in this mock, Abdul caught a slid, and I'd run up there in 2 seconds to hand in the card. In my opinion, he's a linebacker. He is not an edge. If you think he's an edge, watch the Penn State versus West Virginia game. He's Mykel 2.0. He's not a full-time edge. If you want to play him at linebacker for the first 2 downs, I don't got a problem. And then put his hand in the dirt on 3rd downs, I don't have a problem. But remember this: Abdul Carter is a linebacker, not an edge, people. Hasn't anybody learned anything from the Micah Parsons experience at edge? He wears down over 17 games. So that's for that. Next is we got the Miami Dolphins on the board. They're picking 13. Tua Tagovailoa's brains look like scrambled eggs at this point. So we got to get him some offensive line help. And we're giving him Will Campbell, left tackle, LSU. Now, you can slide him over to right tackle, but also, listen, man, it's way early. Is Will Campbell my number one offensive tackle? No, he's not. He's close. There's 3 tackles that are very, very close. Very, very close. It's all what you like. Some people like ice. Some people like vanilla. Some people like chocolate. Some people like strawberry. I like it all, especially when it comes to women. Next, we got the Colts Colts are on the clock. They need some help for their quarterback Richardson, who's made of glass and can't stay healthy. But we're going to give him Egbuka, wide receiver, the Ohio State. Him to stretch the field, but Richardson's just made of glass, bro. And I don't know how many more years Joe Flacco can stick around. Next, 15, the Atlanta Falcons pick edge Nick Scourton, Texas A&M. Listen, you have to realize when it comes to draft, are you a floor guy or are you a ceiling guy? Like, do you see somebody where their production might not be that great, but you see all the traits in them and you go after them? Or would you rather take the guy that is a few inches shorter, a couple of seconds slower, but he has more production? Nick Scranton, edge, Texas A&M, big kid, and his ceiling is extremely, extremely high. Next is we have the Arizona Cardinals. And like I said earlier, the three tackles are all pretty similar. This kid I'm giving you is not in my three, but it is what it is. And he's Josh Simmons, left tackle, Ohio State. He is not in my top three at offensive tackle. And he's coming off an injury. He tore his knee. So I don't know if he's going to be ready. I don't know if he's going to be ready. Listen, bro, you draft a kid. Would you really want to rush a young kid back from an injury and then how about he hurts himself again? So that's that. Next, we got the Bengals. This is another kid that he's interchangeable with offensive tackle one. And the Cincinnati Bengals have to protect Joe Burrow. They have to. And you're getting Kelvin Banks Jr., who a lot of people can make an argument he is the best offensive tackle in this draft. A lot of people. And you could then slide Orlando Brown Jr. over to the right side. So that's that. Next is the Seattle Seahawks, and they're getting crazy value. At 18, they're getting Mykel Williams, edge/defensive tackle out of Georgia. Let me tell you something. This kid does what he wants, when he wants, and he was hurt this past year. He was dinged up. He only played at about 250 to 260, so he's going to have to make a decision on where he's going to be in the NFL. He's not going to be able to survive in the middle at 260. So it's either you throw 30 pounds on him or just leave him at edge. I don't have a problem leaving him at edge. That's me right there. So then we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the board. They're picking 19. Vita Vea isn't getting any younger. So we got Kenneth Gant, defensive tackle, Michigan. 6'4", like 340-pound kid. I know people are not giving him a lot of love because of the helmet, but they need a run stopper in the middle. Like I said, and he'll just help extend Vita Vea's career also. Next, we have the Denver Broncos. They need help in their secondary, and they're getting the second safety on the board. Malachi Starks out of Georgia. Great value at picking 20 in the draft. 21, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers. They draft basically blue collar type of dudes that are going to bring their lunch pail to work and work and work and work. And I truly say right now, Mike Tomlin is the best coach in the NFL. I don't want to hear about his playoff record because he does the most with the least. Has Pittsburgh ever gone out and spent a hell of a lot of money in free agency? No. Besides the Emeka Fitzpatrick trade, they ever really go out and trade for anybody? No. So he does the most with the least. And we're giving him Jack Sawyer, edge out of Ohio State. Big kid, nonstop motor, won't get washed out versus the run, and he can get to the passer. And he is always around the ball, and he always shows up in big games. Next is we have the Chargers, and they're picking. He's being reunited with his college coach. They're picking Michigan tight end Colston Loveland. Got 2 tight ends going in the first round this year. Next is the Green Bay Packers. At one time, we thought they had 2 wide receivers that were up and coming. Dubs They just having a lot of injury problems, both their wide receivers. So, and I love this name, Elick Iamore, wide receiver, Stanford, because everyone's blowing this kid up. Everybody. I gave you this kid from Stanford, no less, wide receiver. I gave you him in the summer. In the summer, I gave you this kid. And ironically, everyone's talking about him now. You're about 6 months late, people. Next, we got the Vikings, and they're going with Omarion Hampton, running back, North Carolina. Big kid who's had 2 solid years of production. I think 2023, his tape was better. He had like close to 900 yards after contact. He also had very good tape in 2024, playing on a horrendous North Carolina team. So that says something about him. Next is we got the Texans on the clock. Texans need offensive line help. And we got Armand Mimubu, tackle, Missouri. This kid has tackle and guard flexibility, and he should step right in as a starter. Next, we got the Washington Foreskins on the clock. We all know Dan Quinn is going to go defense, defense, defense. They need a running back. The Redskins do need a running back, but I feel that they can get one later on in this draft. So at 27, the Redskins pick Texas A&M edge Shamar Stewart. Same thing, bro. This kid has crazy size. He gets to the passer. He's good versus the run. And we all know Dan Quinn is going to go defense, 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 defense. And there's enough running backs in this class that they can get a running back every single round. They can even get an undrafted free agent running back that's going to start for this team. So there's no need to overdraft a running back this early. So he's going to take the best available on the board. Next is we got the Ravens, and we're going with Benjamin Morrison. He's almost tied with Will Johnson as being the number one corner. We'll find out more at the Senior Bowl when they run their 40s and stuff like that. But to be sitting at 28 and get a Benjamin Morrison on your team, that's great, great, great value, because we all know corners, left tackles, it's not like you walking into a grocery store and just grabbing someone off. They're very hard to find. Next kid we have is next team, we have the Buffalo Bills on the board at 29. And we're giving them defensive tackle Walter Nolan, Old Miss. In my opinion, he's a 3-tech. He's only a 3-tech, and he can get up the field and put pressure on the quarterback. The Bills definitely need some defensive tackle help, and they could probably go offensively. You could go offensive line at this pick, to be honest with you. But we gave him Walter Nolan, defensive tackle, Old Miss. Next is the scummy Philadelphia Eagles. I know, right? We're giving him Jalen Walker, linebacker, Georgia. All right. Remember like 3 years ago when the Kobe Dean came out and all those other stations, they talked about him like he was the second coming of Mike Ditka, and I said he's too small and he doesn't. He can't hold up. What's this? Like his 3rd year in a row getting hurt? The Kobe Dean. The Kobe Dean's a dwarf, Mel. He was like 5'9", and they drafted him in the 3rd round with a messed up leg and a torn pec. So I'm giving you a little bit bigger linebacker, Jalen Walker. It was a flip of a coin. It could have been Jalen Walker. It could have been Alabama's Jihad Campbell, but I don't like Philadelphia, so I'm giving you Jalen Walker. Number 31, the Chiefs are on the board. They're taking Josh Connolly Jr., offensive tackle, Oregon. Let me tell you something. When Oregon played Penn State, this kid made himself a lot of money blocking Abdul. He made a lot of money that day. But I'm telling you, bro, it is not a great year for offensive line. It is not. It's not. After like the top 4 to 5 tackles, it's legit. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Who'd the boys take? Late. The boys took, you'll probably like this pick. Listen, at 12, someone is going to fall to us good. And it just so happened that Abdul, linebacker, Penn State, fell to Dallas at 12. And I would be doing backflips in the street if he fell to Dallas at 12. Because being an offensive coordinator and having to game plan against him and Micah, bro, they got to keep a lot of offensive coordinators up all night. Like I said, I don't know which one it's going to be. There's going to be a hell of a player that slips to 12. I don't know which one, but there will be. And it's going to piss me off if Dallas looks to trade back. All right, last pick, and it's ironic. They agree with me. They got the Lions winning the Super Bowl. I said that. I didn't say they would win it, but my prediction before the season started was Lions-Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell, he has his skill positions, and he's all about trench warfare. And I'm giving him edge/defensive tackle Landon Jackson out of Arkansas. The kid is 6'7", 290, and he can play edge. He can play defensive tackle. And I would say the Detroit Lions need some help along the defensive line. And this kid is not a bad pickup, especially with Aiden Hutchinson coming off a broken leg. 2 different completely style players. I'm not comparing Landon Jackson to Aiden Hutchinson, but at that point, there'll be like maybe 4 other edges. I expect them to go edge with their pick because just because Hutchinson comes back, and he has a rod in his leg, who knows if he's going to be 100% next year. But I see them going edge. So let's see. I'm so not a morning person. That's why I worked nights for 26 years. All right. So this is mock draft 4.0. 32 teams, first round mock draft. The other ones you can find, 3.0 is on my channel, and the first 2 are on my Twitter. All right. You got to also sub to these channels. You got the Frisco Report. They were on last night, Wednesday or Thursday nights. They come on. Sub and subscribe. You got Cowboys Corner. He usually comes on Saturday nights talking crazy. We have Fifth Quarter Cowboys. Sub and subscribe. He comes out with Freaky Fridays and What the F Mondays. All good content creators. We got Cowboys Champs. Not a good guy. Tells you like it is, bro. Cowboys Fiend. OG himself. I know he's a big Trey Lance fan. We have 1980s Cowboy. Spitting out a lot of knowledge, too. Then we have Ishan, Hollywood's newest up-and-coming producer at Paladonian Films. Production. Let's see. So I'm also later on, I'm going to be coming out. We're at 585. I'm at 585 prospects already so far for the draft that I've put out since May. And I love that. I love the Imore pick out of Stanford because this kid is getting so much love now, but yet I put him out there in the summertime when he was on nobody's radar. Honestly, it's not a strong wide receiver class either. It ain't. Or it's not proper English. It all depends how you look at it, man. It's not a strong quarterback class. It's not a strong wide receiver class. It's not a strong corner class. I'm even going to say offensive line, man. As crazy as that sounds. There's like a couple of, like, I don't see a center being drafted till like round 3. I could be mistaken. I really don't. I don't see one worth a draft pick before round 3. But what do I know? Me personally, I don't see a guard coming off the board until round 2. What do I know? After like the 3 top tier offensive tackles in no particular order, Campbell, Banks, and Mullins from West Virginia, I think the tackle class falls off the board big time. Can you still get your day 3 guys? There's a couple day 3 guys I like, but it's really early, and I'm going to be honest with you. This is just me, and it's early. Combine hasn't come yet. Senior Bowl hasn't come yet. But as of now, I legit have like only 10 first-round grades on people. But that's of now as of January 17th. Why do the Cowboys reach often in the draft? We reach because we never sign anybody in free agency, and we make our needs so like obvious. Listen, in a perfect world, if you're the perfect franchise, you should take the BPA, best player available, because by reaching and taking needs, that's also how you get burned. Just like a hypothetical question. Wherever Dallas is picking, would you rather have that? Would you rather draft the 6th rated left tackle or the number 1 rated running back, wide receiver, or tight end? Or it could be reversed then. But when you draft for need, which Jerry always does because we don't sign anyone in free agency, and we go into the draft with everyone else knowing who we're going to draft, because we just they don't play poker. But the reason they reach is because the GM is never going to get fired. The GM is Jerry. He can draft Hingle McCringleberry from Penn State, wide receiver. He ain't going to get fired. He could draft Donkey Teeth out of Boise State. He ain't going to get fired. He's the GM. What does he care? He can draft someone in the 2nd round with a blown out knee. That's all he does. He's not getting fired. That's why this is a draft channel. I'm going to be coming out with about 5 to 10 more prospects later on. Thank you, everybody, for jumping in the chat, because we all know when you're rocking with the GWO, for life. Over and out, everyone.